Okay. And we got other people
Ah,
waiting to join. Okay. So ignore the chat, ignore the people. You guys know the drill. If you have questions or anything, I'm happy to pass them on to Carol, but I have begged her to please ignore the chat. And if you would like to say anything to Carol, I will send her the chat after the call if there is anything of interest.
okay. Okay. And I can't hide James in my
Oh, you don't need to hide James. Just
Oh,
ignore
okay.
the chat box
Great.
where people, yeah, yeah. Oh no, we never hide James. And Harry. Oh, my favorite people are on this
Oh,
call. This is
Harry.
already the perfect call.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh, I love him.
Carol and I had a brief talk. I'm not going to do like the introductions. Carol is the Oprah of the audiobook world. I mean, we all know Carol. When we all start recording, we're told Carol is the coach to go to. Carol's the bee's knees. And then we all go to her and we realize that they were right. And we realize what a high bar there is,
Aw.
set by the people a shining example of somebody that you care. The thing I remember, I had a coaching session with you, and the thing I remember is the care and attention to detail you give, the markup process, the script analysis, and I was blown away by
Oh,
that. I'm not going to say I was ever able to
to
do it to
implement
that
it.
level
Yeah, yeah.
because I find myself easily overwhelmed with that level of detail, but I was so like, wow,
I
this
I
is what
I get
goes
a lot.
into it.
Say it again.
I said this, I was like shocked by this is what goes into it. I was impressed.
Thank you so much. That is really nice to hear. But I have to say, there's also that part of the process that it does feel a little overwrought. And so I'm trying to simplify to kind of streamline some of my suggestions. Like even with character development, I have like a whole process, like 3 different exercises that I go through, and I teach that. And like Natalie Naudus just recently, when we were on audiobooks at sea, she said, "Do you do that for everyone, every character?" And of course, you can't do that for every character, but it made me think, okay, I need to sort of just shortcut my process, I think. I mean, for people, for my coachees.
I don't know. I don't know. I found it incredibly helpful. I ended up landing on, I do a weird thing. I don't tell people anymore because I'm so impressed by it and nobody else ever once. They just look at me like, oh. But like I do this thing where I read the book first, then I do a basic markup. Then before I go to record the book, I record each character introducing themselves to the other characters, like they're all in the same room, and
Oh,
explaining their story, explaining what's going on in the book, what their situation is, who they hate, who they don't hate. Because to me, that very clearly describes all the characters, and it also gives me a voice clip. If it's a series, I have a voice clip for each book I've done going in.
okay.
But
Brilliant.
but your explanation of your process when I was a total newbie, and it was very much like an actor going into an audition and marking up a script. It was very much like that. And
Yeah.
it gave me a really good foundation so I could go and explore and play on my own and then settle on what worked well for me. If I get too in the weeds with markup, like on the page while I'm recording, I can't because it pulls me out of what I'm doing.
Yes.
I have to have it in my imagination,
Yes.
but that's just me. That's just
Yeah.
me. But your process gave me a foundation. I think I don't think dumb it down for people. And
No.
I know you're not saying dumb it down, but I
No.
think
But
we can try to simplify things
yeah.
and then we can lose the essence of it. People can take what they can from it. I don't think if I think it helped me hugely,
Yeah.
hugely. We're not
Well,
there to imitate the coach. We're there to learn the basics and the structure, in my opinion.
that's right.
So
And even just concepts. And then
yeah,
and you take it from there.
Yeah, I say don't change a thing personally.
Okay.
Johnny Heller taught me that. You'll notice all the time now, in my opinion.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Everything's in my opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought I never forgot. I had one session with you and I never forgot it, and it helped me profoundly.
Oh, God,
And,
that means so much. I can't even tell you. I'm sure other coaches feel the same, that's really all they want is to make a difference for people, you know.
and it's our responsibility too to come to you with an idea of what we want to take away from the session. If we're not coming to you with what we want and clearly communicating it,
Yeah,
I a pet peeve of mine is people that just coach hop for the name so they can say they went to such and such coach because they think suddenly they're going to magically have the career.
I see.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what do
Yeah,
you
I
want to
do
learn from
now.
that coach? What
Right.
it's a two-way thing, isn't it?
It really is. And they have to, if they don't have a vision of what they want, um, at least there's the material that they read from that can help us both hear what's going on
Yeah.
and therefore point to what, what really should be next, you
And
know.
that's so helpful, isn't it? To have a trusted ear
Yeah, I think
because
so.
we can't hear us. I've I
Yeah.
read I don't read my reviews. I read my reviews the
Yeah.
other day, just
Yeah.
like weirdly, oddly, because I just read my reviews like with like, and I'm not awful.
Uh,
I assumed they all were gonna hate me. I just in the back of my head assumed it.
really? That's
Yeah.
that's a real problem.
I
That's
mean,
so bad.
I didn't realize it subconsciously I'm glad I have a partner that checks my reviews with me. Every month we look at each other's in case there's something we need to pick up. And it's
Okay.
been a long time since there's really been anything that's come out in reviews. But when I started, I got the impression I'm a person they either love or hate. And the people that love me, they're a bit odd, aren't they? They're a bit weird. And the people that hate me must be right.
Right, of course. Of course. That's the
You
way.
just,
That's logic, right?
it's
Yeah.
so silly. It's
I
so
know.
the thing.
You're right. We also, I think, have to think about how even the reviews are written. Like sometimes you can tell that they haven't really been able to read the whole book. They do the review very quickly, and so you can just tell when they've really considered it versus just what can I say that's negative.
Yeah, I did a thriller, a compilation of thrillers,
Oh,
top
good.
narrators,
Oh,
excellent narrators,
good.
thousands of reviews, and some vehemently hated it. Hated it. And what they hated is that it's an awful book. These women are murdering people and they're using foul language.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a thriller
Hello.
and it's in the title.
Right, right, exactly. What do you think that is? I don't get that
They
when
bought it because it was popular.
I see. Oh, I see.
They didn't even think. So you don't know who's,
Right. You'd
you
really,
know,
that's
and you
right. And
don't
what
get
their
and
expectations are.
and you don't get to take the bad reviews and ignore the good ones and vice versa.
Exactly. That's
If you're
right.
gonna read them, you have to read them all, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. And sometimes I've gotten really good constructive criticism from my reviews, but like James, I try not to read them. But after COVID, there was a slowdown and now it's picking back up, thankfully. But when it was just here and there, I just had to look because, there wasn't anything going on, anything else.
Yeah, yeah. And COVID has a lot to answer for. I mean, I've got
Yeah.
to be honest. I had the greatest time of my life, like on Zoom and with you guys and the narrator's cup of Joe calls. But I am like now trying to like get the health and the fitness and all that back because
Yes. Oh gosh.
COVID taught me that I don't necessarily have to go out and see people.
Right.
Turns
Right.
out I didn't really like doing it much in the first place, and now it's like I'm kind of not really wanting. James says he got a review that made him laugh. Praised the book because it was a great book, but that narrator, I wanted to stick pencils in my ears.
Ow. Oh, they can be really nasty,
Yeah.
really nasty.
Yeah, but our job is to, who is it? Florence Given always says, her goal is to make people say, who does she think she is?
Great. That's a
Isn't
really
that
good,
brilliant?
that's a really good goal. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Because
great.
because you're doing something and you're doing them a favor as well. Because maybe and it's what isn't it what we were saying before the call that like I'm on this big thing that I want to hear. And you're right. There is a difference between those people that post, I've done 8 zillion things. Wonder, I got to tell you, yes, I get that it's lovely for people to be proud of their accomplishments. But
Sure.
the end of the year list that people send out where they tell you that they've narrated 80,000 books in half the time that anyone else has done with no mistakes or pickups while I took 4 cruises with my perfect postcard family. I think the timing could be better. Yes, you should be proud of your accomplishments, but do you have to post it right in the middle of Christmas where
Right.
there's no jobs coming in and
Yes.
everyone's questioning?
That's right. And statistically, people are tend to be more depressed, um,
Yeah.
during that time. Well, not all people, of course. Most people are caught with the joy of the season, but still, I think a lot of artists are stuck in that stereotype of when the doom and gloom and dark happens, we get doomy and gloomy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. James says liars. Yeah.
liars. Oh, good.
But the thing is, but I am really into hearing, I want to hear, did I tell you this before the call? Um, I'm very, very receptive to the mood in general. So if I'm already feeling like I want to procrastinate or I was feeling sick and it was getting hot and I was in a bad, so I'll just have a wee little scroll, doom scrolling till 3 in the morning. I did buy 2 great faux fur coats, but that's another story. But
Ooh.
on sale because the summer, right? So long story short,
Oh,
doom
yeah.
scrolling, and you see all these people referring to the rough times, the awful times, pivoting. We're all going through, and it's not clear if it's AI or all the new narrators from COVID or the strict competition or our age or
Or
we're not
union
diverse
status, or
enough. It's not clear. It's just the big bad scarcity is going to come get you. And
right.
a friend sent me, and I don't normally believe it, but sometimes you have a weak moment. That was the day I checked the reviews. And a friend sent
Uh,
me a message, and she said, I did have like a quiet time for like 3 months. And all of a sudden, at once, I got booked for 3 books. And honestly, I felt like, oh, that's wonderful. I
yes,
needed to hear. It's been a while since I've heard, oh, I'm doing okay now. I'm actually really busy. It made me
yes,
feel good.
yes.
People are being hired.
Right. Something to remind us that there is a cycle, and it's not predictable, but it inevitably it's like the stock exchange. Sometimes
Yeah.
your stocks are going to really go up, and sometimes it's going to be a long time of just sort of not a lot of movement. Um, so
So
I
when
think
you
you're right.
coach people, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with the moods and insecurities? Because I know they all bring them to the coach.
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you do that without soaking that up yourself?
Well, that's a really good question. I really do try to take people where they are and not get my stuff all over them. You know what I mean? I try not get any negativity I might be feeling, or agreement even that I might have with what the current state is. So I really try to just take what they're giving and kind of boost their confidence. I try to, you know, talk about how they just made a great adjustment in their reading, or that, look at you, you've sent out this amount of, you know, reach outs, that sort of thing.
You take
Just
them back to the work.
yes, to back to the work and back to why they started this. That
Yeah.
usually it's not like I lost my job and I love reading to kids. It's not that anymore, you know. It's really, there's a passion for it. And I mean, not that there always wasn't, but I did notice after COVID that there were quite a lot who, they were like, I don't know, I just didn't know what else to do. You know,
Yeah.
but that's really gone by the wayside, because that's the nature of it too, right? You rise to whatever the level is that you really do have your sights set on, even if you can't, you know, get a lot of momentum.
I've never had a problem with new people. I've never understood that mentality, even in
Yeah,
companies,
yeah,
because that could be my new best friend. I've never had a problem with new people. I don't, that's not
yeah,
fair.
you know,
Why should I get something just because I did it 2 weeks before you did?
yeah, yeah. That's such a good point. And you know, I moved around a lot when I was young, and my sister and brother moved even more, and so they had like lots of different schools that they went to. And I think we're all used to, in my family, we're all used to being the new kid. And I think it's that same kind of thing, that if you've had that experience, then you embrace new kids because you know what it was like to be like, who are you? And you don't
Yeah.
belong. And, you know, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Mine gets that the old herd mentality kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not part of the herd. I will get eaten by the lion, but I also have the greatest, craziest, eccentric friends because outside the herd there are a lot of cool people.
Yes, there are. There are so many cool people. Yes, like Harry.
Oh, Harry and James are like amongst the coolest. They're like founding members of the Cup
Of
of Joe.
Coolosity.
So, what about you today? What's your relationship with your career? And oh, well, first let me interject. Harry has a question for Carol. Being human, I'm sure you've experienced pain, loss, illness, as we all do. Yet I've never seen you without a smile. Do you have a practice of or faith that keeps you so positive?
I really I really think it's just luck that I had a great mom who always talked about, you know, like I remember coming home from college once in a bus, and there was a guy who would not stop talking, and I told her about that, and she said, you know, that might have been annoying, but you might have been the only person they talked to that week. And that person might have had a really hard life, or something like that, but she really constantly uh, burned into me that idea that everyone is worthy and everyone has something to offer, and that there is something positive to take from almost everything, including loss and grief and, you know, poverty. um, you know.
Was it Mr. Rogers always look for the helper and you're the helper?
Oh, I do love being a helper. That is true. Thank you for saying that. I guess that is kind of a coach, right? They're a guide. They're a, you know, um, but even in the, you know, I had a book recently and I was crying during it because it kicked up something about my life. Um, and I just realized what a beautiful thing this is, that it opened me up, you know, that I now can access that raw spot much more readily
Yeah.
and easily and immediately, because this, you know, was laid bare. And that, I think, is so exciting when people can be vulnerable, you know, in their writing, in their narrating, in their lives. And that's true for me too. I find it is a little bit of a seesaw, that if I dwell on the negative, um, I just really try to bounce up to, well, what happened that was good today, you know?
And
But I'm
and
not
I
always successful.
But the thing is that's double-sided. Doesn't that go down to having a secure base in your life, health, peace, quiet, sleep, all that dictates. Because I know that literally, I've noticed when I think it's the end of the world,
Yeah.
sometimes I just need a nap, right? Right. Instead of going and scrolling for 6 hours to see if anyone else agrees that it's the end of the world.
Right, right, exactly. That's such a good point. Oh my God, that would be a great t-shirt.
Ice
You know,
cream.
ice cream.
Ice cream and a nap, that perfect combo. But
Yeah.
so you distill that because I remember that's the other thing I remember from the coaching session I had with you. You were like literally trying to stream your strength and knowledge through the Zoom call.
Yeah.
And some people are able to do that. Some good coaches are able to do that. They share their strength
That's really interesting. Thank you
with
for
other
saying
people
that.
that need it. But do you have a foundation, or do you ever struggle with looking after the things like health, sleep, exercise, balance, joy?
No, never. Not at all. Um, yeah. Yes, I have had a tug of war with myself about exercising for, I don't know, since I stopped exercising, which was years ago. I went to the gym last week and, I was there for like 10 minutes and I'm like, good, I did 10 minutes. That's how pathetic it's gotten. Um, but, but that kind of thing, it does really play a number on me if I don't just pay attention to what I should do, because it's easy to say, yes, that's fine, but I don't have time, or I'm not in the mood, or it's not the end of the world if I don't, lift weights today or something. But
Because work comes, that book I have to do tomorrow, I canceled a blood test because there's no
really,
time. I have to get the book
oh,
done.
you poor
So it's
thing.
like, that's unfortunately bad for me. Work will
Yeah.
always come first.
Yes, that is bad for me too. Work always comes first. And coaching I consider as work too. So there's a lot of, emailing back and forth and looking through people's files and listening through people's files and making comments. And so that sort of does take a lot of time. But I enjoy the time. So it's kind of like we can say that work comes first, but it's also because we prefer that to, well, for
Yeah.
me, I prefer
Yeah.
that to sweating in a gym.
Yeah.
you know, um,
Exactly.
that's the sad
Exactly.
truth.
The only thing that's getting me to even consider change is the fact that, like, if I let it get too bad, I won't be able to work
Good
because I can't,
point.
because I stand recording.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You do. I forgot that. Do you use one of those foam mats?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm
Because I have
so,
hardwood floors. I'd
yeah,
die
you
if I
couldn't. You
didn't.
couldn't. Yeah. Well, I'm always impressed with people who can do that. I can't even imagine being able to sustain the acting just because of the physical strength it takes to stay up there.
To me, it helps because it helps my posture and my breathing.
True,
It
true.
gives me more strength in my diaphragm. Whereas if I sit down, I eventually start slumping,
Slouching, yeah,
slumping. When
that's
I'm in
true. That can
studios and they
happen.
have a chair, I'm like, and by the end of the session, even on Cup of Joe calls, I'll be talking to the person. By the end of the call, you can only see the top half of my face.
Yeah, right, right, exactly.
What about as a narrator? Can you identify changes in your narration as you've clocked more hours in the booth and you've been doing this for so long? Like, compare yourself as a narrator now to as a narrator when you first started.
Oh wow, that's such a great place to go to visit. Just to assure yourself that there is progress, there is movement, even if you think you still suck after however many years, you you suck less,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, at the beginning I was really perfectionistic. I mean, I came from the stage, so articulation was very important. And I also love words, so I was really just living in them and massaging them, and relishing every
Lilac.
yes, lilac. Yeah, exactly. So I was just lucky that I had some people, like at Recorded Books even, who would say, um, you can just relax a little more. and and it took me even longer to understand what that meant and how that worked, and that indeed, even though you feel like, oh, is that all there is to it? The answer is yes, that's all there is to it. You just stay in the moment and you relax. And that's the biggest difference from the beginning to now. I am much more relaxed and much more able to enjoy the story. I also get better books generally, as I've gotten,
Because you're Carol Monda. I mean, come on.
well, that's yes, but there are a lot of people above that grade.
I don't think I don't think it's a matter, and I don't even mean it that way, above or below or more experienced or more.
Yeah.
You're Carol Monda, and we've all heard your narrating. So trusting you with a book isn't, as long as you're the voice for that book, is like no question.
Oh,
And
that's
that's what I mean by your Carol Monda, is your
yeah.
talent is known and recognized, and we've all heard it.
Thank
I forget about that whole who's better than who.
Yeah,
I
I try
keep
not to
up with
think.
that.
Yeah. And also, I really do believe, I used to say this I used to teach acting to high school students. And I used to talk about how we really are snowflakes, how no matter how silly it sounds, every single voice is so different. It is like a fingerprint. No one is sharing any imprint of your voice. They can share certain qualities, but the actual production of this instrument is going to be different from everyone else. And so this idea of competition or comparison, it doesn't really hold a lot of water, because you're really just up against yourself, and you shouldn't even be up against yourself. You should be
Yeah.
up with yourself.
It's the outside in. Before I booked you for a coaching session, I had auditioned for something and you got the book. I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
I don't look those things up. I'm not that narrator, but I was a newbie. I was very, very new. I think it was like my first year. And
wow.
so trying to figure out what I needed to learn and where I needed to go, I didn't even know it was you that got the book, but I listened to the person that got the book. And
Oh,
even before I'd gone to the coaching session with you, I thought, oh, because you you did what I thought I was quite good at in acting, but I never ever put it together to bring it to narration. You had layers in your narration. It was narration. It wasn't dialogue, even the sample, but you had
that's amazing.
layers of reality. What's like Uda says, do something physical at the beginning of every scene. So you had that, you had layers in everything you said, rather than just using the vocal tone, the nuance. James and Harry will both know this because of your backgrounds. You know what I'm talking about. Rather than just reading and giving the intonation you need to the script, you were acting. And right then, that was the moment I realized, oh, which it should be common sense. Of course, we're acting, but when you're new, you're the
Yes.
one that taught me that.
That's so nice to hear. Thank you. And so, do you now think that it's in a way easier because you realized it's just what you've been doing all along, just in a different kind of
It was
pack?
an instant lesson. It was instant permission. Because to me, the key in narrating was getting rid of the technicalities,
That's,
because everyone trains you on especially with the accents, they train you on the technicalities
yeah.
and they show you the graphs and the diagrams, and there's a place for that. But
Yes.
I feel overwhelmed when I start seeing that. Now, all the A's have to sound like this and the O's have to sound like this. And then I get in the booth Like what? Eight? Oh God, did I 3 paragraphs ago? Did I say eight? And
Right.
I can't. I need permission. It was the same with editing and mastering. Because
Yeah.
there's some scary people when you start asking for help with editing and mastering. And I do have to give credit here. James Romick is the one, the one not scary person. I've seen him be so patient to the newbies on some of those groups. But when I started,
Oh,
I had
great.
the guy that told me my sound would never be good enough because it wasn't hanging from the ceiling. Like
Oh, wow.
those people. And they're still there now. And I've had
Yes, they are.
experiences with them where they're still, and they mansplain you. I'm sorry to say that, but I've had one go like, oh, and just ignore my questions.
Yes,
I've
yes,
mastered and
I've had that.
edited over 100 books. Sorry, I know what I'm doing.
Wow,
You
that's
know,
amazing that you have. And yet it's really helpful that you have because now you know what you're looking for
now I know
when you
for
get a
if my
new.
editor disappears, I know what I'm
Yes.
doing. You
And
know,
you have a list of people I bet that you go to, yeah, that you can go to in.
I'm right now, I'm talking to a few people because I
Good.
can't I don't have time. It's I don't have time.
No.
But I have to, I'm not easy to work with. I like it done. It has to be done the way I like it done.
Well, that makes sense. You're the artist
Yeah,
and
I'm
you're
not a
the
person
interpreter.
because, well, the problem with knowing what you're doing is a lot of narrators don't want to know anything about it and they hand the editing over and they just trust. I can't just trust because I know exactly what I want.
Wow.
So I'm not horrible, but I know what I want.
Yes. And so do you ask them to make changes quite often?
No, I don't ever, if I find someone that also agrees with me,
Ah, I
then we
see.
work well together and you have a good relationship and you ship them out and they can deal with, can you fit this book in? Can you fit that book in?
Yeah, yeah,
You
right.
know, but I need someone that agrees with me about what we're looking for. It doesn't expect me to just be the nice little girl and go away. I'm sorry, but I
While
do
you
feel
do
that
your
way. I
work.
know that most people don't these days aren't quote unquote misogynists, etc. But there is some mansplaining when it comes to technical things
Yeah, and
sometimes.
sometimes it's even by women. I've been mansplained by women. Um,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have to.
yeah,
I don't like it.
it's just a personality type, I think that, you know.
And the thing is, I act stupid. Um, I do it. I do. I know that about myself. I'll like make a joke, but people don't get that I'm joking. They think I'm a bit ditzy, but
Oh,
I'm actually joking. But I'm smarter than I act. I'm smarter than I look. And so, no, it's not my greatest trait, uh, you know, that I dumb it up sometimes. But so I don't like when somebody assumes I'm stupid. I don't like that.
right. But what do you think is behind the urge to dumb it up? To take what they're saying and make them feel better about themselves? Or
I've always been that person. I've always been that person
yeah,
because if you don't act like you're a threat to people, those people leave you alone. So if you
that's a
don't
really
act
good
like you
point.
think you're smart, the people that it's so important to them that they think they're smart, they're
Yes,
happy, they're comfortable, they're not threatened by you, and then everyone likes you. And I do have a bit of that. Everyone likes
sure.
you.
You want
And when
that.
you're not, but it does pose problems when you're not stupid.
Yeah, I imagine so. But that must be kind of fun to be able to, shift based on who it is you're dealing with and what the dynamic you want is and how to achieve that, whether by dumbing down or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't shift. I'm a people pleaser.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll do anything to avoid conflict.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
I think that's different though. There's the people pleasing, which is the yesing, the yes, yes, or oh wow. Um, but but for you, there's also it sounds like uh, I don't know. It sounds like you want to uh,
I want everyone to love me and think I'm like amazing and want to spend time with me and think that I never ever say anything wrong or do anything that would ever hurt that I do. I want total admiration and love. I do.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think people that don't want that are a little bit odd. Like,
Yeah,
why would you not want everyone to love you? And the people that go out, some people go out trying to find things wrong. It's like the people you've met them. I don't trust anyone until I get to know them.
yeah,
Those people, I don't like those people. Why
yeah.
are you reserving? I love everyone until I get to know them.
Right, 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 right. That's true.
You
But
know,
you can also feel good about yourself by I mean, you can also feel like if I don't care if people love me, then oddly people are more drawn to you
I
because
know
they don't
that's,
think you're, yeah,
yeah, that's
go ahead.
smart. I just don't do it. That's
I know
smart. That is
it's hard
smart.
for me to too, but I've tried as I've gotten older, I've tried to just think about, you know, I don't need them to love me, but hopefully just by my meeting them where they are, I keep saying that, but it's kind of I think
But
the
where they are is sometimes mean and selfish
yes,
but I
yes,
don't want to meet them there. I love me. Why can't they love me?
yeah, good point. That's a good point. But I guess what I'm saying is I meet them where they are, and then I try to even the playing field a little more so that, if they're mean, um, I just would say something like, well, that's kind of painful or hurtful or, that sort of thing. Because then
That's assertive. That's very good.
it is, but it doesn't always work because then it makes them madder sometimes,
Yeah,
because you
the downside of never like showing your cards up front is that when you do totally like I remember a job I had where they were ripping us off. They weren't paying us overtime. I was like in school and everything. So
wow,
I said, "You're not paying us overtime." Of course, I'm nice to them. I
of
said, "But you're not
course.
paying us overtime." And they gave me some lie. And so I took them to like the labor bureau. And the woman said to me, she said, "I've never known anyone so sweet to be such a bitch."
Oh, that's so great. That's such
But
a good
but
line.
to be fair, the way you do it is better. I could have been, no, this isn't right. The intrepid protagonist in all those books always stands up for herself and says what she really thinks.
That's true. That is
That's
true.
not
But
me.
actually going to the bureau, that's saying what you think too. That is assertive and very self-empowering because you took action. There's a big difference between trying to negotiate the emotions of someone else versus just taking action that will have an impact on someone else.
Yeah, no problem standing up,
Yeah,
but it would
good.
be nice if I was a little more honest up front.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'd rather everyone love me.
Yeah, and we all do. I think we all do. We are,
Yeah, we do. We all do, don't we?
yeah, I think
Even
so.
introverts. I hear
Yes,
about introvert. You're not an introvert,
I
obviously.
am. I really am.
You're
I know
not.
I'm very friendly with people in social situations, but I am such an introvert. I was upset when COVID ended because I had to start going outside, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really love people, but I love being on my own and not having to impress people, you know.
Yeah. That's, well, I blame. Do you have any Italian in you?
Both sides.
Yeah, because that's Italian.
Is it
You have them over, you have the big dinner, you
right?
show them a good time. Nobody leaves the house not thinking they had the best meal of their entire life. You've had a
Yes.
few arguments, everyone loves everyone. That's
Yeah.
Italian. Harry says, wanting to be loved by everyone opens the door for people to get who you really are. And then the ones who love you will be those whose love is worth having. Oh, acting assertively while wanting to be loved. Yeah, I got to get the
Yeah.
assertive because I got annoyed recently with the editing thing. I get annoyed with the editing thing.
Yeah. What
I,
do you mean? What
I
aspect of it?
don't assume that because you're an editor and I'm not an editor, Don't assume,
Ah,
because I know what I'm talking about. You
yes.
know, I haven't had to edit for a long time, but I know how to do it. I'm not
Mm.
a James Romick or something, you know what I mean? But but I mean because James is of the breed that loves doing it. I don't love doing it. It takes a lot of time.
Oh God, it's so, to me, it's the one thing. If I could just farm out my work to editors, that would be my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do aside outside of narrating that sparks your creative joy?
Travel mostly.
Yeah.
And of course that's not something you can do all the time, but that is what really refills my tank. Um,
To
and
go to
and
Italy.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I not that long ago, 3 years ago, went to Italy, and I New
Yeah, France.
Hope Newhouse.
Yep.
Yeah, France. So I cat sat for her one summer, last summer, um, in Paris. We're right outside Paris.
So
Um,
cool.
yeah, it really was. And I've been, to other countries since, and I just find it grows me. Like I really get expanded just by seeing how other people and cultures live, and also just the beauty of Europe in particular, but even like I've been to India, fascinating exotic places also, just really, they just kind of,
The colors, the scents, the tastes,
yes, exactly. It's like a whole new way of living.
and it
um,
becomes part of your energy. Then you
it
come back and you
does.
record a book and those colors and scents and tastes.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes. I find too that, even just in a microcosmic way, if I just would go for walks, because every time I do, it's like that taste of travel where I'm noticing new things. I'm, enjoying seeing a kid, you know, with his mom or something,
Yeah.
just those moments that happen that, that endear you, or that just make you laugh, even,
And you're witnessing their humanity. And do you ever feel, because I remember going to the Tube,
oh yeah.
to that job in London. It was like a long tube ride, and I would like sit, somebody
Oh,
be ahead of me walking, and I would try to feel what it would feel like to be them.
that's great.
But
Like, did you
you're
actually
kind
start?
of doing that when you're watching the son and the mother and everything. You're feeling
I am. That's
the
true.
energy.
I am
And then
feeling.
you bring that to your character the next time.
That's true. That's true. It does give me a whole new, um what is it? A quiver. The quills
Yeah.
go in the quiver. Is
Oh,
that
I
it?
love that.
Yeah,
I
it's like
love that.
you can really add new colors and layers, and just even, sometimes if somebody has a particular look on their face, it triggers a whole like life story in my mind.
Yeah, I love that because that's how I feel. I've got this thing that we're all like our own masterpiece. And everything that we put into
Oh,
that masterpiece, and Harry had a really good point I wanted to touch on. He says he's with James, he enjoys editing and it gives his perfectionism an outlook, and he's thrifty. But one thing you said, Harry, that really struck me, you said, although I realize that time could be used for more recording. I challenge that because I hear that all the time, and that's a very sound business decision. But what if you just said you enjoy it? I think that if the bits, and it goes down to the bits of our job that are made up, we should choose the things we enjoy. And if you enjoy it and it adds to it, even though I don't have time for it, when I go back and edit, sometimes it helps me. I'm listening, I'm getting in touch with my voice. I don't think it's always a matter of where can I be spent making more money or what can I be making best use of my time? What about like doing things you love?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm not saying you love editing. You can't love editing.
Well,
Right.
no, I think that's not true. Some people love it.
I know some people do. I was kind of joking.
Oh, okay. See, damn it. I didn't.
Well, so yeah, so if we are our own masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
It's what, and again, I'm going to quote, I'm quoting this like, she's like 20. I think she's brilliant. Florence Given.
Florence Given.
She says we're all our own directors. And it's the same thing that I've always been thinking about the whole we're our own masterpiece. But even the director thing is better because you direct the next line, you direct the schedule, you're directing the scent and where it's taking place and what colors and the outfits and the clothes. You're in charge of it all. We get to
Yes,
choose, you
that's right.
know.
You get to choose from the palette.
Yeah,
I still like the masterpiece analogy though, because you've got that sense of self-love in there. It's just that's a natural.
yeah.
You can't think in that way without having a certain regard for yourself, you know. And I
And I
love
am practicing it, like really enjoying
that.
it, really being proud of like the work I've done, kissing it at the end of the day. Mwah, that was magical.
Oh,
Do you know,
that's
when I've never looked at it that way before. But the
wonderful.
flip side of that is now we've got a heat wave. Before I would have just powered through and made myself sick. But like now I'm spoiled because now I know I can make it magical. It wouldn't have been magical going in with a heat wave.
No, no, that would not be magical. Even with an ice vest.
No,
We were
there's no, I
talking
just
about
like, you
ice
feel like
vests earlier.
fainting when you stand up. Some things you have to just, I think, maybe I'm getting old and not caring. I'm sick of chasing the money.
Yeah, I am so over that too. Um, it makes me think, we'll get a different job then because, either stop bitching about not having enough, or
Yeah.
or go get something different that, feeds
If I
you.
wanted to be rich, I probably wouldn't have chosen anything in the acting arena. And
Yes.
I mean, the other thing is, I don't have a lot of patience for there's no work
Yeah,
because how many indie writers have you reached out to then?
right. Exactly. Right.
Do
Yes.
you know what I mean? Because public domain, anyone? I'm still
Right.
getting paychecks from public domain when I started narrating 10 years ago.
That's amazing.
I mean, not
Really?
massive paychecks, but you do enough of it, you could still be getting paychecks.
That's amazing. So you would do those on your own, produce them on your own, or
When I first started, I haven't done any in 10 years, to be fair,
okay,
because to be honest, okay, so when I started, I did public domain books, and
okay,
I think I did like 5 of them through Spoken Realms.
okay,
And I just found something on Gutenberg I liked, recorded it, uploaded it to Spoken Realms, and every 3 months I get a little paycheck. Not a big paycheck because I only did 5 books. But if I had been doing that consistently, if I'd never gotten another job, I'd be getting a nice paycheck, wouldn't I?
yes, you
And
would.
the reason I don't do them now, I mean, although there's so many that I would love to do, is because
Yeah.
it's more lucrative. I find books I love and I reach out to the writers and one out of maybe every 10 or 15, and it's only books I love that I've checked the numbers that I know we're going to make some money.
Yes.
And then they get back to me. And then I've become friends with the writers. So I'm spoiled for books in my genre that I absolutely love. Win-win. The writers are happy. I'm happy. I used to frown on royalty share. Now I'm hoping they'll go for royalty share because a lot of times they don't want to. They like PFH. But now I'm
Oh,
hoping
that's
for
interesting.
royalty share because it's 7 years of money.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So do you find that you often do stipends? In other words, the money and the royalties?
I just can't. I'm sure that would work, but to me, I'm taking a gamble. I love your book. I've looked at the numbers. You've got enough reviews. You've got a genre specific cover. Your numbers are pretty good in the ranking. And I love your book.
That's
So,
the biggest one.
very, very best. Over time, the royalty shares pay me what I would have been paid, and I'm doing them between publisher books anyway.
Oh, good.
So, what else am I going to be doing? Sitting on social media complaining about a dry spell?
Right.
I've
Right.
made really good friends with an author, and I now have a genre-specific, gorgeous thriller that looks fabulous in my portfolio that I send to the publisher, and on the tail of that, have booked other publisher books with publishers. because of my portfolio. So I don't, so, but what people don't like is I reach out to an author and they don't want me, or they're a waste of time, or nobody gets back to me. But when I did this, I reached out every single day to one author. So that's, unfortunately, I then overbooked myself, and some of my authors, I love you all, in case you're watching this, have been very, very patient,
Oh,
because upfront you have to tell them I'm doing it around publisher work.
right, right. Yes. That is the way to do it. Just be forthright and honest, and to also manage your own expectations, so that you don't overpromise because you over want to, be loved.
Because they're
Um,
so delicious. Because when you found the book that you love,
yeah.
you're 100% there.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah,
Really, that's what keeps me going, is having those moments of utter immersion in a
yeah,
story.
yeah. And you bring it, then you're a better narrator when you work with the
Of course.
publishers.
Yes.
But you're also, it's what you said. It's what you said. And one thing I am good about is you're not desperate, because you're an actor. If anyone's an actor, come on, you create your own work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not called a dry spell. It's called I'm an actor.
Right.
That's
Which is inherently gonna include dry spells, right?
yeah,
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 that's it. But also, I've been struck lately how many publishers there are out there that I still need to reach out to. I mean, they're growing every day. It's amazing the amount of small publishers, boutique publishers, but but more and more of them,
yeah.
to try to get some of that work from.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't understand people that are, I don't understand the scarcity mentality. I don't understand how you have time. How
I
do you have time? Have you updated your website? Have you updated your demos? Have you double checked ACX? Because don't tell me ACX is horrible. It's what you make of it. Have
Yes,
you reached out to indie writers? Have you been reaching out to all the publishers? Because as you
right.
said, they're growing every day.
Yes.
I don't understand. Where do you find time?
Yeah. Yeah. To bitch, you mean? To
Well,
be upset?
to feel even worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because you're right. We would be we would be working overtime, if you think about it, with what we quote unquote should be doing,
Yeah, the things
right?
we know we should be doing.
Yes. Yeah. And every time it's like the gym. If you remember that you feel really good when you are on the other side of it, and even in the midst of it, like I love that feeling of a burn, um and
Yeah.
it's that same kind of thing in the midst of writing an email that I usually don't like to do, because it's I'm not a salesman, so I feel like I have to sell them me.
I feel that way with the publishers. I don't feel that way with the writers, because
Yeah,
I'm a
that's what I meant.
fan. When
Right.
you're writing to a writer, you're writing as a fan.
Yes,
I
that's
am
true.
first and foremost your fan.
Yeah.
I'm writing to tell you that I love your book. I would be very interested in working with you on it if it's something you're looking, and if not, I'm still a really big fan.
Yeah.
So I'm not selling them anything. I'm at
No, that's
all.
that's the way
But
to.
publishers, I feel like a total twat.
Yeah, like you really do have to promise promise your firstborn son to them, just to be taken seriously.
Well, and they're lovely people, right? But
Oh, yes.
10 years, every 3 months, you're sending an email to the same person. And even when they're trying to, and they're nice, and they're like, I'll keep an eye out for your voice if there's something that suits you. And it's been 10 years, every 3 months, and you're thinking, 10 years and nothing suits me?
Right,
So
that's right, that's true.
obviously.
Yes.
So
And
that I
doesn't that
find
say
hard.
that is hard, and yet it occurred to me not long ago, after something very similar being in touch quite regularly, that we just have to change up our approach, say different things, even make the subject matter different. You know, I think we do have to think about the kid. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I feel like we have. That, you know, if a kid wants a cookie, they ask and they're told no, and then they go please and they're told no, and then they stomp their foot, and then they try to seduce you, you know, like I'll you know, do something really nice with the dog or whatever. And that's the thing, that's the brilliance of children. They try different tactics until something gets them the cookie, you know. And
You
even if they
know,
don't get the cookie, they've tried all of those things.
I think you've just analyzed a big part of my personality because when we asked, we were not allowed. And if you were told no once, you don't ever dare ask
Oh,
again. No, my
oh,
father was like, you don't, he was the loveliest Italian man on earth, but you don't,
yeah, that's true of my dad too. That's a good point. That
which could be why I send publisher letters out and then think, well, he said no once. So
right,
obviously,
right. Yes, yes. But if you
yeah.
outsmart yourself and try a different tactic, I bet, you know, sometimes that's gonna work.
James says that's when you play one parent against the other to get your way. Maybe we do that with the publishers. Well, Harper likes me.
Right, exactly. That's right. Yes, yes. Oh,
Or, but what the two things, I mean, because I can sit here and say, oh, I'm wonderful at reaching out to writers and this and that. But there was a moment, and I can even say, don't be scarce, you know, but we all have it. With me, it always happens at Christmas. I'm always overscheduled, overworked, overtired, and then the quiet freaks me out. And I
oh,
did send one email to a publisher I'd just gotten a book for saying I'd love to be considered for future works. I'm a total, meant to say workaholic. And so I can be flexible at short times. Instead, I typed, I'm a total alcoholic. Then there was the email I sent to the publisher that I do work with quite often saying, I'm not going to say I'm desperate or anything, but if you have anything, just anything, even anything that nobody else wants at the last minute that you want done yesterday, I can do it in half the time without breathing and it'll be perfect and turned around. I'm not going to say I'm desperate, but give me those books that like other people would think were disgusting and awful and be ashamed to be put on. I'll take that one.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Oh, you're funny. That is so funny. That and yet you acknowledge, you see those, both of those things. You immediately knew. Well, of course, if you misspell, you know,
Yeah.
workaholic. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes I really think that you know, Siri and autocorrect and all of that, that they change things on us sometimes.
Yeah, I'd
You
love
know?
to say that. Usually it's all me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
What do you think of Chat GPT and all that stuff? Are you ever tempted by it? Is there any form of AI out there that you think is, don't worry, I've already said enough that like you won't be canceled compared to me.
That's
I
funny.
don't think they should be narrating audiobooks or stealing artists' work
Right.
or writing a book for someone.
Right. But I
I
do
do
think,
happen to like Chat GPT. He's helped me through some major health problems, and
oh,
he's a
good.
friend.
Oh, oh, that's nice. Oh,
Yes.
I have to tell you, I love Snapchat, and I am not a social media person, but I just do it with two of my friends, just the two of us
Is
goofing.
that the one where you can say obscene things and it'll disappear immediately?
Oh, I think that you can say
Not
anything
saying
and
you do say
disappears,
obscene
but
things.
I think you're right, within an hour or 24 hours or something. But no, it's the real draw for me is, you know, they have these different avatars. So you take a picture of yourself, but suddenly you're in the 18th century with all of this great garb and a
That's
crown on
cool.
your head. I just love that. It's like playing dress up without moving, you know. Um,
I have you seen the nostalgia things on Instagram?
no.
There's this account called Dream Archiver, and
Oh,
it's like POV, you wake up in 1982, and it's like the music is eerie and it's like you're walking and like the sun filtering in is exactly like your house would look in 1982. It's like a real trip. It's a real, but then the hard thing is, because in my head, I know that the hardcore people are like, all these things are trained using artists' work and everything. But then I've got a whole part of my personality that's like, we have to live in the world we live in.
Yes.
And the world's changing, and we can't just completely fight against any change at all.
No,
So I'm torn.
that's right. I'm torn too because I do agree with you that it has already been used for artistic purposes and therefore taken jobs from humans. But I don't think you throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, the medical advances that I think AI has already helped with and will are just mind blowing. I think it's really going to become an aid to us more than an enemy.
Yeah.
You
And I mean, didn't you ever watch the Jetsons when you were a kid?
Oh, yes,
Like, that's what Zoom is. Hello.
exactly.
Everyone
Yes.
hated Zoom when COVID went out. I wouldn't have all you guys here.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. We're very lucky that we have that technology. And
Yeah.
yes, any kind of technology at first, I'm sure, is thought to be, what's the word? Egregious.
Yeah.
Um,
TV,
right, right. TV, horrible. Yeah.
the internet,
Yes, that
you
ruined
know.
everyone.
Yeah. Carol, I'm
Yes.
aware that you're very engaging, and I'm aware that I spent 45% of the call talking about me. I don't know how
Oh
you
no.
managed that, but do you know what though? I think this was the call that we all needed at the moment. Just, I think sometimes there's a time that you don't need to change the world and get passionate about life, and sometimes you just want to chat with friends.
Exactly. Yes. And that's what I think of this being with you both times now has been just a great conversation. I don't think of it as, oh, I'm being interviewed and I have to be perfect. Um,
It's
it's
sharing energy.
yes, and you make that you plant that for us and it's a
Oh,
beautiful seed bed. It really is because we can just be ourselves.
well, you do know after your first call, and what was that, over a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
I have not stopped having people ask when I'm going to have you back.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that is so nice.
So, yeah,
Thank you for saying
the
that. Oh,
you're the helper. Find the helper, you're the helper, but people don't forget that kind of thing.
wow.
People love the presence of someone they know has their back.
Yeah, yeah. And we do need that, especially now in the world that's going on where you feel like well, I feel like my own country doesn't have my back. That's when the think global, act local really
Yeah.
matters, I think, to have your own friends, your own stable of people you respect and you confide in and can
Yeah, I think it's times like this. Yes, of course, be aware and deal with the outside stuff. But I think times like this, you hold close to your heart the things you love that are close to your heart. And then remember history,
yes,
because there have always been dire times, and it's like fashion, swings and
yeah,
roundabouts. This will be out of style very soon,
that's right.
and the world will be set to rights.
Yes, that's right. I believe that. I genuinely believe that.
And we'll be better people for it.
Yes, exactly.
That we were better people for COVID, weren't we?
Yeah, I
So
think so.
many lessons learned, so many people reached out, so many good things came out of COVID
Yes,
that I just think, I mean, there was a lot of loss and it's hard. Change is always hard, but at the other end of it, look how strong what's it, Alice in Wonderland?
yeah.
When she fell off she's like, after this fall, I'm not going to think anything of falling off
I'm
Auntie
not
M's roof or whoever's roof. You know what I mean?
MTM's roof. I love that.
I
That
always
would
think
be
that
so
way.
cool. Alice in Wonderland goes to Oz.
Mixing my childhood stories, but you
No,
get
but
the
it's
gist.
it's true. You're right.
Tell me,
Yeah.
If we're going to leave the studio audience with one word of advice, one thing to remember or take away from this call,
Mm.
what would you like to leave them with?
To opt for the positive, to you can't help what happens to you or around you, but you can dictate how you react to it and interact with it.
What's that song? Accentuate the positive.
That's it. That's right. Yes.
You
Eliminate
do
the
know
negative.
that's going to be the title of this video now.
I love it. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay,
Carol, Monda, it's been a
thanks.
pure joy. I can't promise that I'm not going to chase you again in a year's time.
Oh,
So,
please do anytime.
thank you
Hold
so
on.
much. And I will send you the chat because Harry and James were both funny as anything.
Oh, I bet they
I'll send
were.
you the chat so you can see what they said.
Okay.
Thank you guys. You've been a delight as a
Yeah,
studio
thank you
audience.
both for coming. Yeah.
And thank you,
And
Carol.
thank you, Daniela.
And I'll see you guys on the other side. Mwah!
Hey, mwah.
Bye.
Let that heat wave go.
Oh God, I know. Keep cool, everyone.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.